Hello students, today we can learn about an important factor that influence our life, that is weather and climate. You may be observed that all the days are not same. Some days are windy, some are rainy, some are sunny, sometimes it will be very hot, sometimes it will be very cold. The atmospheric condition is always changing. And also you know that the houses that we are living in different parts of the world, that is different. The clothes that we wear, that is always different for different parts of the world. The food that we eat, that is also different. Why there is such differences? Did you ever think about that? Today we can learn about this. Weather is defined as the atmospheric condition of a certain place at a particular point of time. The weather, it depends on a particular or a small region and for a short period of time. For example, when you travel from one place to your house, in between you may experience a rainy weather, a windy weather, or a cloudy condition, otherwise a hot situation. Within a short period it happens. And from your school to your house, there also may be changes in the weather conditions. That means weather that shows atmospheric condition of a small area for a short period of time. It is always changing. It influences our daily activities. Weather, it is the changes in the atmosphere. Which part of the atmosphere these changes takes place? Last chapter we have learned about it. Do you remember? Yes, all weather changes takes place in the troposphere. That means the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere. Climate refers to the sum total of the average weather conditions that prevail at a particular place over a long period of time. An analysis of weather data for a long period means 30 to 35 years of a large area, that will help us to determine the climate of a place. Climate determines the agricultural activities of a country. We can determine the climate of a place by observing the weather elements and recording them. In a weather station, we can find the weather instruments. But nowadays, satellite images, with the help of satellites, we can take the images and which will provide more information on the climate of a region more quickly and accurately. To learn about the weather and climate, we have to know about the elements of weather and climate. So, let us start with the first element, that is temperature. Temperature is termed as the degree of hotness or coldness of air. It may vary from place to place and time to time because of many factors. Which are the factors influencing the distribution of temperature on the earth? They are difference in the latitudinal position of a place. The equatorial regions are generally warm and polar regions are very cold. Another factor is altitude. Altitude means the height of a place from the sea level. When the height increases, the temperature decreases. That's why hilly areas are cooler than the plain region. Another factor is distance from the sea. How the sea is influencing the climate of a place. The places which are close to the sea experience a moderate temperature. That means not too much hot, not too much cold. Ocean currents. They are the large movement of water within the oceans. You may be remembering about them. Ocean currents are of two types, cold currents and warm currents. Cold currents, they are able to reduce the temperature of a place. On the other hand, warm currents, They are able to raise the temperature of a place and even able to make the coastal areas ice free in winter. Winds that are coming from cold regions are able to lower the temperature. On the other hand, winds coming from the warm areas, they make the temperature high. Vegetation cover that is able to provide shade means trees provide shade, and presence of vegetation, forest, trees, etc. are able to bring down the temperature of a place. Students, you may be heard the weather reports which tells us about the temperature of each and every place. In mobile phones also, when you check the weather condition, you can find the temperature. How it is recording in the olden days. Not only olden days, now also we are using the instrument 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. It is shown here. It is invented by British scientist James 6. That's why it is named as 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. As the name indicates, this single instrument will let us to know the maximum temperature and minimum temperature of a day. So here you can find two thermometer limbs, and one is used to show the low temperature, that means the minimum temperature, and the other side is used to show the maximum temperature. And here you can find two liquids are used, mercury and alcohol. These two liquids, they will expand according to the increase in temperature, and they will contract according to the decrease in temperature, and both of them will not stick on the glass tube. That's why these liquids are used in the thermometer. So here this thermometer shows minimum temperature, here it is a maximum temperature, and you can find a metal index on both the limbs. We know that sun is the source of heat energy on the earth. So when sun rises, that time onwards the temperature of the atmosphere will increase. Accordingly, that this mercury that also start to expand. So noon time, that is the hottest time, and that time mercury will expand maximum. It will push the metal index upward, and mercury will keep the metal index in a reading which shows the maximum temperature of that particular day. After the sunset, the temperature will decrease. Accordingly, this mercury also will start to contract, start to push the metal index backward. That means the temperature is decreasing and reading in the minimum limb. That also will be shown by the metal index. This metal index will be pushed upward by the mercury column, and towards 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning, the coldest time is recording that time. So that will be shown in the minimum limb. So a particular day's minimum temperature and maximum temperature is showing by the 6S maximum and minimum thermometer. In a weather station, the person appointed for taking and recording the measurement, he will record that measurement. After that, using a magnet from outside of this glass tube, it will be again replaced back to preparing this instrument to take the next day's measurement. Here a vacuum space is given. This is for filling the alcohol, because when the temperature increases, alcohol and mercury both will expand. That time this area also will be filled by the alcohol. For that only vacuum space is given. If you check, you can find the temperature is marking in two different ways, in degree Celsius as well as in degree Fahrenheit. Here in the minimum limb, the temperature decreasing downwards, and in the maximum limb, the temperature is increasing upward. So using this, we will be able to find the maximum and minimum temperature of the day. and using that we will be able to find the average temperature of the day and the range of temperature of the day. So these measurements will be utilizing for finding the average temperature of a particular year or a particular period.